Shalom, shalom. I want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Shah. This brother Yahweh the servants back at it again with another video through the spirit. Right, another truth revealing Tuesday. All praise Most High. And today on this one we going into the slave slash Negro Bible. Right, we're gonna get into that. Now before we get into that, I do want to kind of just bring out a couple of current events, couple things that's going on in the world before I go into that. So I'm gonna start off with this precept in the book of John chapter 8 verse 32. So let me get that real fast. John 8 and 32. It's the book of John chapter 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So now we live in an age of truth. When you really think about it, so much information is out here. So much information is out here, but it's up to you to go and search out the information, right? Go study, read. It's up to you. If you don't know what's going on now in 2026, I don't know what to tell you. You got Google, you got so many, you got Duck, you got Chat GPT, and so many search engines out here to help you find information, and if you're not tapping into the information, man, I don't know what to tell you. And a lot of our people, they don't care about learning information. They don't care about knowledge. They don't care about wisdom. And they're okay with living their docile lifestyles, worried about things of the world. They don't have what knowledge on how to roll your blunt, knowledge on who's the top athlete in the country, who's the next to win the MVP of the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals, or which rapper is the top rapper. This is the knowledge and the information a lot of our people care to obtain, but not the knowledge of who we are, how to serve the Lord, how to repent, how to fast, how to be diligent, how to be sincere, the history of our people, our forefathers. How do we got in this predicament that we in right now? They don't a lot of our people don't care to know this information. So this information is for those that do. Let me get another precept. Because we got to understand this. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are destroyed people. And we destroy because we lack knowledge. But I'm going to read this right here. This the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. So, and that's self-explanatory. If you reject the knowledge, and what the knowledge is, the true knowledge is the fear of the Lord. Fearing the Lord, keeping his commandments, and having faith. That's the true knowledge. But a lot of our people, they're destroyed of that because they reject that knowledge. Instead of receiving that knowledge, they rather receive the evilness and the wickedness of this world. Again, you got some people, man. Some of our people, they got the knowledge. They could teach you how to scam. They could teach you how to sell dope. Here, I seen this. It's a young Jake had a song about how to catch a body. Insane stuff like that. Our people have the knowledge and the wisdom of now not a lot of them, but a good bit of them. Not every last one of them, but a good bit of our people. And they have they have knowledge on the left hand side, a lot of wickedness. Instead of obtaining the true knowledge, because when you think about it, those things are not going to get. Knowing those things won't get you to the kingdom of heaven. But knowing how to fear the Lord, how to have faith, how to be obedient, knowing the commandments, knowing how to repent, knowing how to love your brother, the things that's in the scriptures, that's how you get to the kingdom of heaven. That's the greatest thing you could ever attain in the world. It's the kingdom of heaven. But to get there, you have to attain knowledge. You have to obtain wisdom. You have to get understanding. And I'm going to get another precept in the book of Daniel. Because I did say, I want to bring out, again, we're in the age of information. So I'm going to get this precept right here. Bear with me. Let me get this precept. Yep, this right here. The book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 4. It says this, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So knowledge is increased in these last days. You know, things that our forefathers they didn't know, we understand. You know, like for instance, for an example, when Eli when John the Baptist was on the scene, and the disciples was inquiring to the Lord about Elijah. When was Elijah going to come? And not understanding that that was John the Baptist, we know that now. You know, we know that through the scripture that John the Baptist was Elijah through the Spirit, right? So, and not just that, you got brothers know the breakdown of the 12 feathers. Brothers know the breakdown how to go through the book of Daniel and all these different beasts and learning which beast is and which nation those beasts represent. The statue in Daniel chapter 2, the different parables, the different things in the book of Revelation. They know the brothers going into it, breaking down the seven seals. Knowledge increasing these times. So again, if you lack knowledge, you know it's kind of on you, because you gotta dive into this thing. But anyway, so let's get these current events. So I want to kind of if brothers and sisters have been checking, you know, we definitely want to give an update on the things that's going on in the world, because you know we're living last days, so you want to be observant and cognitive of the different things that's going on in the world. So one of the things I want to kind of just show is we're gonna go to this because it was something I seen. It says the battle for Hungary. So Hungary. How you pronounce that word? So let's go to this. So it's this. It says this: battle for Hungary. How the Russiagate blueprint has been unleashed against Orban. Western vested interests are running a familiar ploy, but this time the power plays have been exposed. So it says this. It says by RT Newsroom, a team of multilingual journalists with over a decade of experience in Russian and international reporting, delivering original research and insights often missing from mainstream coverage. So if y'all don't know, a lot of times the your mainstream media like your Fox News, your NBC, a lot of times a lot of information goes missing from that. It's a lot of propaganda where they choose what to tell you. So one of the reasons why I do go to this news source is because a lot of things that's missing from the mainstream media, they kind of put those things out. But let's keep going though. It says this. It says the shadow campaign to swing in Hungarian election against Viktor Orban has escalated with the wiretapping of Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjarto. The case offers a rare look into how bureaucrats, journalists, and spies run regime change operation in real time. So the reason why I want to bring this out is because one, you have you know chaos going on in the area of with Iran and Israel, and between Iran, Israel, and United States, and then also you have Russia and Ukraine. Now you also got things going over in Hungary right now. It says this: 3 weeks out from the April 2nd elections, the political opposition to Prime Minister Viktor Orban scored what seemed to be a win over the weekend when Politico and the Washington Post ran articles alleging that Szijjarto had phoned Russian foreign Prime Minister Sergei Lavrov with live reports on what had been discussed at multiple EU meetings. The report cited unanimous European security officials. So it's kind of like some little underhanded things going on. So you had Jato basically on the phone with Russia them, kind of giving them a drop on the EU. Let's keep going though. It says neither Orban nor Sajato make any secret to their desire to maintain cordial relations with Moscow, particularly on matters of energy security and the peace process in Ukraine. However, when bothered with more outlandish claims that Russian election fixers are already embedded in Budapest, for example, the reports paint a picture of a government comprised by the Kremlin. So the point is, me bringing out this is to show you that, man, it's not just things going on in the countries that you see mainstream. It's other different countries going on that's basically going into turmoil. You got spies, you got people kind of in cahoots with Russia. Now, what's to say that Russia starts to link up with that Hungary starts to link up with Russia? That's going to add even more to the allies of Russia, and we know that at this very moment, the allies of Russia are Iran, China, North Korea. So that means if Hungary get into this thing, hey, Russia's going to become even more of a powerhouse, going to become even more of a threat. So it's something definitely to watch. And I want to get this thing too, just to touch on the war that's been going on with Iran. Just to give y'all an update that the U.S. has dropped some troops. You know what I'm saying? Some more troops. And again, this video is gonna be for educational purposes. So let me get that. Let me get that real fast. Let me stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing screen. All right, so again, this is for this is fair use, educational purposes. Let me get that. And just give y'all an update on the things going on over there in Iran. Things, because some people might think this thing's slowing down, but now this thing is continuing to kick up. It's continuing kicking up. Them boys ain't stopping over there.
The Iranian war. So troops are going out. However, simultaneously, while this is happening, we heard about an hour or so ago that Trump had declared victory and claims that Iran has offered a prize in talks, but Iran has denied having done so. Take a look. Iran has offered U.S. oil and gas prize in talks, Trump says, coming out just 2 hours ago. Now, this comes, as I mentioned, that we're hearing that troops are being deployed simultaneously while they're saying there is potential deal on the table. Trump says negotiations to end the war are happening right now, and Iran is talking sense. Now, this comes as well as there's concerns here in the homeland, as today we saw a massive explosion at a crude oil refinery that rocked Texas City as residents were told to shelter in place today. Large oil refinery explosion near Texas coast forces residents to shelter in place. Now, the explosion comes amid a spike in gas prices driven by uncertainty over the global oil supply.
Oh, so stop. So I just want to, again, I'm going to keep letting them go, but as you see, and I also want to point something out while he was saying that, you know, Iran kind of disagreed with some of the things that Trump then was saying. So, and that's why I was saying also too that you want to be mindful of some of the things that you see on mainstream media, because it ain't always the truth. It ain't always what you think. So I'm gonna show y'all this article to kind of show y'all, give y'all info how can I say this, to further so I can further understand that Again, that sometimes they be having fake news. Just be realistic. So just like how Tehran denied what Trump was talking about, I'm gonna give y'all an example with this article right here, so y'all can know it's a lot of going on. You got fake news going on. You got espionage going on in Hungary. Then you got U.S. troops they ain't getting deployed. Now also you had a like you just said a oil refinery just exploded in Texas. So there's a lot of different things that's going on in the world right now. Again, and more reason to be sincere, to buckle down, to tap in, to be on fire, to get your studying in, get your praying in, build up your faith. You know, because things is continue to go. Again, like I always say, it could slow down for sure. But as things continue to kick off and to continue to unfold, man, it's kind of like, dang, now it's time to put your foot on the gas pedal, like really, like all gas, no brakes. But it says this: we negotiate with, I ain't gonna say the word. U.S. Secretary of War tells Iran Tehran has denied fake news of talks with Washington, accusing President Donald Trump of trying to manipulate financial and oil markets. So just like how he was just telling y'all how Trump was saying, we um we done talked to Tehran and they talking good. Hey, Tehran said, hey, they denied the fake news. So that's why I say it's good to kind of have different news sources contrary to the typical main news that you have. So let's keep going this. I'm gonna just read just a little bit so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But it says this: the Pentagon is expected to send thousands of troops from the elite 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East. Sources familiar to the plan, familiar with the plan, have told Reuters and AP, and that's the video that we're looking into right now, where it's saying that they have sent troops from the 82nd Airborne Division. The officials who spoke on the condition of the anonymity said the troops trained to parachute into hostile territory to secure key airfields and other facilities could be deployed in coming days. So again, they telling you that hey, they dropping troops over there. They already had Marines go shipped over there. Now they got airborne division. And airborne division that's in the army. So you have Marines, and you got Army. Two different branches over there. It says the official who spoke on a condition. I'm best lucky. Rita says, meanwhile, senior Iranian military advisor Ali Akbar Ahmadian warned Washington that Tehran's armed forces have trained in asymmetrical warfare for more than 2 decades in anticipation of the inevitable U.S.-Israeli attack, daring American soldiers to come closer. So, you hear that they saying they got peace talks and Trump talking about they seem like Tehran or Iran is talking good. No, they don't seem like they're talking good. They said they're prepared. These people, they ain't backing down. That's the thing, they're not backing down. And you got a lot of our people, like I was looking at this post, and this brother, he was basically talking about how, seeing how like that basically how Iran still, going at it with the United States. And he basically, by how he worded his messages, he felt sad. He felt sad as in, dang, I thought America really was doing this, or I thought America really doing that. So you got some people that really putting their trust in America. They having faith that America gonna pull through, that things gonna be okay for America, and that's not the case. That's not according to prophecy. Because we do know, according to the scriptures, there's going to be a matter of time for Babylon gets destroyed, whether it be by these people or somebody else. But let's keep going. It says U.S. President Donald Trump earlier said that diplomatic talks with Iran were taking place, and that that is the reason why he postponed military strikes on Iranian power plants for 5 days. Because that's if y'all haven't paid attention, he did do that, and that's the one that when the brother the information the brother had pulled up. He was talking about it. He was like, "Dang, they postponed this," and he felt as if America is taking the L on this, or they're not showing their power as they usually do. And he kind of was in his feelings. But we can't have our trust in man. We can't have our trust in Babylon because Babylon can't save us. So-called white man can't save us. Only Yahweh Hashem Yahushua can save us. And that comes with us actually being sincere and being diligent and doing things that the elect would do. And that makes sense. Because the elect, they going to do what they got to do. Because the elect is sealed for them to receive salvation. So whoever the elect are, they going to live like the elect. And being that we don't know if we the elect or not, you try your best. You put forth all your power, all your might. You don't know, but try living like it. Elect man or elect woman, you know what they will do? They'll be on fire in these times. They'll be diligent this time. They'll make sure they're praying, make sure they're fasting. They'll be examining themselves, cutting off the members through the spirit that's ready to die, or strengthening things that's ready to die, and removing things that's unneeded. But yeah, we got again just a little update of the things that's going on, and I'm gonna let him finish with this video, and then we're gonna get into the slave Bible.
Because of the Iranian war, we're still unaware of the cause of this explosion at this refinery in Texas. And in addition to that, take a look at this. Game-changing secret weapon is coming. Iran rejects Trump's productive talks claims with a fresh new warning to the United States, as they're saying a secret weapon is going to be on the way. So we're hearing that Donald Trump is saying we've got a deal. We've got a 5-day pause. We're going to see what unfolds. This is a critical week for the conflict taking place in the Middle East. But while it is going on, troops are being sent, U.S. troops to the Middle East. And Iran is saying they've got a secret weapon. And Iran is saying, we don't know what you're talking about. There is no deal on the table at this time. But Trump is saying we are very close.
So that's why I brought out that article, just to show y'all, like, that's Iran's position on this. We don't know what you're talking about. We ain't got no deal. We not slowing down. Now, they did have a proposition. I don't know if brothers and sisters check that proposition out, but basically, Iran was like, man, you got to give us some money. You got to give us some money. They looking for some money. For them to stop whatever they doing, they looking for some bread. Millions of dollars. And that wasn't just it on the deal. It was but it's mostly involved money though. But the point is, these people say, man, we're not slowing down. I don't know what you talking about. It was a deal on the table. We ain't talking about none of that. And that goes into many other scriptures, but I'm gonna just bring out this scripture right here. It's made me think about this one. This right here in Genesis chapter 16 and verse 12. Because what you have is what you have is Ishmael, the Arab men, they remember their nature. They're starting to remember who they really are. And that's what I'm saying this. It says, and he will be a wild man. I'm starting on 16:11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord have heard thy affliction. And these are the Arabs, they descend from Ishmael. It says he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And that's when we were thinking about the dynamic of them. It's a whole bunch of them up in that area. A hell of a lot of them. Even with the different countries, there's a lot of them all surrounding around each other. But the point is, it's let you know that Ishmael is a wild man. And in these last days, he's stepping into that spirit of being a wild man. He been doing it before now. When they was, running up on people with the things trapped to their chest and blah blah, and they disappear. Boom, kapoof. And they getting back to that. They said he got a secret weapon. And who knows what that secret weapon could be? We don't know. But we know that these men, they're not backing down. They ain't slowing down, ain't slowing up. That's why it's good to keep watching this thing, because you might think, because the mainstream media, man, they be talking about other stuff, man. Other bull crap. You can forget. You're like, man, I forgot they had that going on. Nah, you gotta pay attention. But I want to get this precept too. Let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. And I'm gonna start at verse 30. I'm gonna start at verse 29. Make sure I'm sharing my screen. Let me get that real fast. Just to really show you that, hey man, Ishmael not backing down these last days. So let's go here. So it says this 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse number 29. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmenians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as wild boars of the wood. And if you don't know where who the Carmenians are, just look up where modern day Carmenia is. It's Iran. Literally, it's Iran. Literally. And with great power they should come. And that's what they're doing right now. They're being that wild boar in the woods. And this is just, again, we're just looking at the beginning. It's still more to come. They said they got a secret weapon coming. We see that the United States, they just deployed the airborne division. So it's just like, dang, who knows what's next? Who knows what's next? Every day is something new. They've been giving them hell over there in Israel, dropping missiles on Israel. They've been going at it. They literally been going at it. It's so crazy. It's like, again, they're showing their nature. They showing that, hey, I ain't what you think I am. I ain't like that. I'm really like that. Cause when you look at it, it's another thing that happened too. They had China pay them $2 million. I mean, not China, but Japan, and they did it. Japan paid them $2 million, pay Iran $2 million just to get their shipment through. Like, they're really showing, like, you got people like they showing their hand, and you got people like, hey, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I said, we gotta see. Will there be more nations that's gonna be like, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead, send a little $2 million to Iran to get my product through. Because you gotta think about it, again, that Hormuz Strait, with a lot of that going down there, that area where they were restricting it, that's causing a lot of problems for the oil reserves, for the oil industry. Causing a lot of problems in the oil industry, in the energy industry, because oil is how you get energy. So it's a lot going on. A lot of these nations, it's not just America that need that oil, it's many other nations that need that oil as well. So again, they doing what they do. It says, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Syrians. And then then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And right now, these people are remembering their nature. They remember they're a wild man. They remember that they really can get down. And again, this event is so important that we look at this, because this very thing that's going on could very well kick off World War III as we may know it. It's just a matter of time for other nations hopping in. So I said it's definitely something to keep watching. So now let's deal with this slave Bible. So the reason why I want to kind of get into this, because when we look at Christianity now, right? We look at Christianity now, and we look at how it's being taught, the things that's being taught to our people. We start to notice that a lot of stuff that they talk about stems, like the message that they used to have in the time of the slave Bible hasn't really changed much. So let's understand what the slave Bible is or the Negro Bible is, and then you can understand what I'm saying. So first and foremost, we have to understand that. What do I got a Bible? What Bible that is? That's it. No, that ain't the Bible I want. But I ain't got my other Bible in here right now. But the slave, I'm gonna give you just a visual, and they got a visual too. We gonna get a visual, but I'm gonna give you a pre-visual to the visual. So we're gonna look at these cards, these flash cards right here. Boom. So I get by like this. So compared to size, this is what you see as a regular Bible. Okay. Now, what was given to the slaves was something right here. So you see the difference. It's a very big difference. A lot is missing. A lot of it is missing. So when we look at the doctrines and the understanding of the Christians in modern day society, they're missing a lot of information. A lot of information they're missing. A lot of it. A lot of it. And you can tell because when you talk to them, they regurgitate the same old thing over and over and over and over again. They have the same thing, the same premise all the time. All you gotta do is believe in your heart. You'll be saved. That's all you gotta do. But Paul said that's the same thing. John 3:16. It's the same thing. Over and over again. Right? But they're missing, and the reason why they say those things because of what they're really missing. A lot of things they are missing. Okay. So let's go into what was missing, and you can you can see how it's missing, just how they talk. They talk like that. One thing, a lot of Christians they don't really get into prophecy. That's one thing. That's one thing for sure. They don't really get into prophecy, and they do. And if they do talk about prophecy, they talk about the prophecy of I prophesy that you or what it is. What did I say? I ain't even got my keys, but they be like, I hear keys jingling, whatever. I prophesy a new job, or I prophesy a new car. Stuff like that. That's what they prophesy. You know what I'm saying? Madness like that. But they don't prophesy about the destruction. They don't prophesy about the famine. They don't prophesy about the pestilence, the famine of the word, things of that nature. They be missing a lot again. So let's go into this. Let's go into this book. So it says this: Slave Bible from the 1800s omitted key. And another thing, whenever somebody says that they use the Bible to enslave us, they use this the Bible they talking about. They not talking about the actual Bible that we read. This is the Bible that they use to enslave us, not the original Bible as it is, with all the books in there, Old Testament, Apocrypha, New Testament, the whole shebang. They did not use that to enslave so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. They did not use that. They used the slave Bible where they remove many books out of. That's what they use. So whenever somebody say, oh, they use that book to enslave us, no, they use the slave book Bible. That's what they use. We have to understand that. A lot of our people don't understand. They think that the Bible itself was the book that they use. That is not the case. We're going to go into the book that they use and how they use it to enslave the so-called black man. So we can put that we can put a lot of things to the test. I mean to rest. One, that obviously the Christians in today's society have not really changed much. Now some things of course done changed, as in the nature of the slave talk, But than that, the same BS, same thing. But and also too to show brothers and sisters the Bible, the actual Bible that they use to enslave us, not the Bible that we read, but this one. And there's a picture of it too. So let's go to it. It says on display now at the Museum of the Bible in Washington D.C., which it's I haven't been there, but that's definitely something on the list. Though that sounds like a mighty thing. But it says it's a special exhibit centered on a rare Bible from the 1800s that was used by British missionaries to convert and educate slaves. Right? What's notable about this Bible is not just its rarity, but its content, or rather the lack of content. It excludes any portion of text that might inspire rebellion or liberation. So, and then because when you think about it, because a lot of, again, some of our people there, what I brought out in Hosea 4 and 6, they're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So they assume when they read when that the Bible is full of just, I don't know, so you got some you literally have some people that think this way. Does everybody know? But there are some people just being on the highways and byways and talking to folks that really believe that. Like that's a slave Bible. Like, but they never read it. But not knowing that the scriptures don't talk about slavery like that. There is slavery in the Bible, but it talks about way, it's way more vast than that. Talks about history. It talks about how to serve the Lord, what exactly he want, what exactly he don't want. You know, talks about the temple, talks about the history of the Israelites. It's so much information. Talks about different prophets like Elijah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, the different visions that they had, the different things that they prophesied, even to the coming of Yahweh. Talks about that. Give you the history of the Hasmonean dynasty during the Maccabean revolt. Tells you about the other parts of Ezra, which you have first Ezra and second Esdras. You know, the additions of Esther, Judith. Man, it's so much. It's so much. We didn't even talk about New Testament yet. We just start saying bits and bits of information. But our people, they look at the Bible and they don't really know what's going on because they don't really read it, and also because they missed that pinnacle step, which we all know is the pinnacle step to understanding the Bible is keeping the commandments of God. That's very important too. Very important, because if you're not doing that, you ain't gonna get it. And that's Psalms 111 and 10. That's how you get to understanding. But let's keep going on this thing. It says Anthony Smith, associate curator of Bible and religion in America at the museum, says the first instance of this abridged version, titled Parts of the Holy Bible, selected for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Islands, was published in 1807. So it was published in 1807. So it says this: about 90% of the Old Testament is missing, and 50% of New Testament is. Think about this. And then when we think about this, and when you talk to a Christian, and brothers and sisters know what I'm talking about, you especially if you go out and labor and do the works. A lot of times when you talk to the Christian, that's exactly what they know. With that 10% of the Old Testament and half of the New Testament. That's all they know. They might go here, look, they might say a little Matthew. They might, dig a little bit in Romans or Corinthians or Galatians, But there's it's a lot in that thing. And they go to a few points. They might go to the Galatians chapter 3. They'll go there. We know they'll go to John 3:16. Right? They'll go to what's another one they'll go into? They might go some out. They might go on some to baptism here and there, but for the most part, they miss a lot of the information. You know, we think about the different things with Yahweh Shai, the prophecies, because Yahweh Shai told us about the times that's to come. He even warned the Israelites about 70 AD what was coming. You know, taught us how to, and even then, he taught us what to basically, teaching us love, but also to be what? Be obedient to the Father. Because when you look at him and you look the way he lived, he was obedient to the Father. Whatever the Father wanted him to do, he did it. He was the example to do what? Follow him just as he followed the Father. Simple. Some people, they take that, and some people don't learn from that. Some people think that, the Old Testament and then the New Testament, everything changed. Like it's insane. But the reason why they think that is because they haven't. It's a lot of things that's missing. That's why. When you're missing information, the rest of the information ain't gonna make no sense. So when you don't really indulge, especially if you bypass the whole Old Testament, you're gonna miss a lot of information to where you're not gonna really understand the New Testament. You're gonna think that you understand, but you're really fooling yourself. But let's keep going though. It says this. Put in another way, there are 1,189 chapters in the standard Protestant Bible. This Bible contains only 232. So let's go to some things that we know for sure was missing in this Bible. So let's get something. We're gonna get something through the spirit. All right. We're gonna get we're gonna get this in Psalm. We're gonna go to the book of Psalms, and we're just gonna go through some things. So we go here. Let's get Psalms 68-35. It says this: "O God, thou art terrible out of thy holy places, and the God of Israel, the God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God." So one of the things they did, again, they didn't want us to have liberation, freedom. So knowing that the Most High is our strength, that could cause they would think that would cause rebellion. All right, let's get some more stuff. We just getting started. We just getting started. We gonna get some different things. One, we gonna get this. We know this one in So when you read the book of Leviticus chapter 25, and you go into let's jump down to this right here about when your brother is being basically in he's poor, so he has to be he becomes a servant. But this is going into how you can buy your brother out of servitude. They didn't want us reading that. It says this: "And if thy brother be waxing poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, thou be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt." Now we're talking about we're talking about how you're supposed to have compassion upon your brother if he's poor. And we see that if you reading that as a slave, you be like, wait, hold on. What is going on here? You will see that again, what we've been taught, what we've been presented us, we've been misused, abused, oppressed. And when you read, matter of fact, and when you read, and we're gonna keep reading, it says this. It says, I'm Lord your God, that brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxing poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant, but as a hired servant. Even going to that, when you look at it, guess who was treated as a hired servant? The dang the Irish. When people say, the Irish was enslaved. No, they was indentured servants. That's what the Irish were. But it says, but as an indentured servant and as sojourner, he shall be with thee. He shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. So when you go into the year of Jubilee, it goes to the year of release. They didn't believe none of that. So-called white man want you to say about none of that. A year of release, what? As long as you alive, you're gonna get passed down to my children, my children's children. We was passed down literally like dang a pair of shoes. Or not a pair of shoes, you can't do it. But damn hand-me-downs. You know, hey, my son had this, or I had these slaves. Hey, my son gonna receive these slaves. And when this slave had children, them children, so forth and so forth. We was passed down like property. Wasn't no freedom, wasn't no year of Jubilee for us. Wasn't no year of release for us. Wasn't no year of redemption for us. They want to take that out. They want to exclude that from our minds. So you never think that you will be free. Never think that you could buy off your brother, relieve your brother, be a hired servant. Because we got to remember, according to them, during that time, we was 3/5 of a man. We weren't even a whole human then. So when you start reading it, it really exposes the slavery that it was in America. Because the slavery in the Bible, the what you call servitude in the Bible is totally different to what slavery was here in America. Totally different. It says this. It says, for they are my servants, which I have brought forth out of the land of Egypt. And I'm jumping down to verse 42. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but thou shalt fear thy God. So if you sit here thinking, bro, you're like, well, dang, we ain't supposed to be thinking, you know, and it's either gonna be this, right? Either one would think, well, hey, we must not be those we must not be your brother. Cause ain't no way, cause you gotta think about it. We must not be how can I say it? Our brother, but we are, when it comes to us in a so-called white man, it's a big difference. We can't be the same. Look how they treat us. We can't be, they can't have no love for us. They can't say that we the same people, we all one people. It's a clear difference. Either way you look at it. Either if they were saying they the people, it was damn, we show like these people. Because you show love ruling over us with rigor. You show ruling over us with hatred. But yet, they call us their brothers, buds, pals. But this was if we was buds and pals, we shouldn't have been like this. We shouldn't have been treated like this, brother. But when you really look at it, the Bible really exposes who the white man is. Because when you go into it, it tells you about how Esau had that hatred towards his brother. Because when you go into it again, when you look into different things in the Bible, we were supposed to be gentle towards one another. You didn't hear about no buck. When you read the Bible, you don't hear about no buck busting. You don't hear about the whole analogy of the Willie Lynch letter. You don't hear about these things. You don't hear about none of this. And that's why it was missing. Because when you remove all this information, you can really push a narrative. You can push a narrative for you to never think about freedom, never think about redemption, never think about things being easier. One brother probably read like, dang man, I hear about this. Man, I could be like this. I can get out of this. This ain't the end of it. The Bible give us hope. These scriptures give us hope. But without that, they stripped our hope away from us. So we did what? We started looking to them. And you still see it today in America. Why people look to the so-called white man for a savior, for redemption. When things getting bad, what the white man say? You know what I'm saying? How we get out of here? How we gonna get out this pickle? Like the brother that got emotional when he seen like how America kind of they ain't as in this thing as they said it is, with the Iran thing. He got emotional. Cause that's he was looking to them to be their savior. He's still looking to be a savior. He looking for them to do everything right. To fix the world. But when you take a people, you strip them of their knowledge, of their understanding, take away the Bible, most of the Bible, and you just get a little bits and pieces to fit your narrative. That's how you control a man. That's how you control the mind. And we see it now. And now what's crazy because now they got it to where a lot of our people, they just go off what they heard. Well, my pastor said this. But a lot of them really look in the Bible and say, well, dang, I ain't know it said that. For instance, it's like I hear this all the time. All the time. Somebody say, I hear this so many times. Ask people, can you judge? Oh no, Bible don't say judge. You can't judge nobody. You can't judge nobody. No, you can't do that. But then you just bring out scripture where Yahweh say, judge righteous judgment. No, I mean judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Oh, I ain't know that. Because they're regurgitating things they heard before. Just like when it came to the slave Bible, the little bits and pieces of information, they still regurgitating the same old thing right now to this day. They might not be regurgitating the slave portion about being a slave and being obedient to their master. But all the other bull crap is same old. Same old. The Christianity that it was when our people was in segregation, when Martin Luther King was on the scene, it's the same thing now. The message, the same thing now. Now the delivery might be different. You got these I forgot these new age pastors, what they call them. But they got these new age pastors nowadays where they have this this deep preaching. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all know what it is. Like your pastor ties. A lot of them preach similar. They kind of phasing out with the hoop and hollering pastor now. And now they phasing in these pastors that kind of, they come in with their nice, they little the suit and tie, and they get a little deep with you. See, you're not they do a lot, you're not really hearing me. See, when you read, you gotta really read. Now y'all ain't hear what I said. They'll say something like that, something silly like that, and they'll make and Negroes look like these niggas is deep, but they not really deep. They just got a little talk. They got a charismatic. Yeah, they got a charismatic way of speaking. The charismatic way of speaking, charisma. They got a lot of charisma. Now, I give them that, and they just focus on shallow things. They make shallow things deep, and they think they done said something. They really said nothing. So it's the same thing, same message. It's just delivered different. But let's go to some other stuff. This is the most important thing too. Most important thing they didn't want you to read was this too, right here. Reading this. Imagine being oppressed, going through slavery, and you read this. Let me see. What do I want to start at? Whole thing go crazy. But I think I want to start. I want to start here. I want to start here so you can kind of get a context. Like you gotta really think about this. You know what I'm saying? If you was a slave and you heard like you read this, I'm gonna show you what I mean. So imagine just being in a land, again, a land where, you know, you a slave. Everybody around you is a slave. Imagine reading this. It says this, let me jump down to this. Exodus 1 and 11. It says, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor. So you start thinking about rigor, hard bondage. You're like, dang, but they're just like me. Keep reading. You like, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. So you like, dang, bro, this really sound like me. So then you keep on reading. You keep on reading. Then you get around about this right here. You get around to this part. When it what I want to start off at. I'm gonna just go to the point. Mess around, get to Exodus chapter 5, right? You reading now. First, like I said again, you living your life as a slave, and you're reading these things. You're like, dang, that sound like me. Just like how when we put up the Bible and we seen how the Israelites was, seeing how they was going through it, we like, dang. But I ain't, like I said, we got some more, but I'm gonna just keep reading. It says, and afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus said the Lord God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. So again, you hear this now. You hearing that the Israelites being promised freedom. Like, that ain't happening to them. Again, like I said, we read the Bible. When you look at the Bible gives you hope. It does. Because you see, like, dang, bro, I see this happen. I see the power of the Most High. I see what the Most High can do. I see he did that for them. He can do it for me too. So you got to really think about how a slave would really think on this. Damn, bro, I really get up out of here, man. It said, Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that I should obey his voice? And now y'all know the whole get down of Pharaoh and Moses. But we know that the Israelites, they got out of Egypt. And we hear about the plagues that happened to the Egyptians. We hear all the destruction. You're like, dang, it's crazy, but there's more to go. But before I go there, I want to show y'all some what was taken out, so y'all can know what was taken out, so y'all can see why I went to Leviticus, why I went to Psalms, why I went to Exodus, because you're gonna see that there's no one in there, and it's so many more. There's so many precepts that's alluding to, liberation. We the Israelites. That's first and foremost that we the Israelites, but things of hope. Not just we the Israelites, but things of hope. Things of hope. Things that we needed. Okay, so it says this. Matter of fact, let's keep going. It says this. It says Smith says passages that could have prompted rebellion were removed. For example, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female. You are all one in Christ Jesus. They removed that. And verses that reinforce the institution of slavery, including the most famous pro-slavery verse that many pro-slavery people would have cited, says Smith, were kept. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Hamashiach. That's what it said. That's what they use. That's what they use. That's what they use. So when we look at what was put in there, that was put in the Bible. That's just they just took pieces of the Bible and taught what they wanted to, just so they can push the mission into their slaves. But I want to go to this thing, this video. Let me see this. I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go to the video. It says it was intended for use among enslaved Africans in the British West Indies, which is modern day Caribbeans such as Jamaica, Barbados, and Antigua. He says so. It was very much so in Jamaica. It says Smith says there are several theories behind the editing and omitting of so much of the Standard Bible, but the main thought stems from the fact that farmers in the West Indies were opposed to missionaries' work with the enslaved Africans on their land. This can be seen as an attempt to appease the planter class, saying, "Look, we're coming here. We want to help uplift materially these Africans here, but we're not going to be teaching them anything that could incite rebellion." And look at that. It says they came to they wanted to, but these people they wanted to be uplifted. It says coming in and being able to educate African slaves would prepare them one day for freedom, but at the same time would not cause them to seek it more aggressively. So they want our people to be docile, have no hope, right? So they say it says this can be seen as an attempt to appease the planter class. But these farmers didn't want that. These farmers didn't want the slaves uplifted. They wanted them down because they can control them more. When somebody is oppressed, when somebody is down, they're more easy to control. Like with certain relationships where they put down their spouse. They're more the people that one that's getting put down is more easy to control. Same thing in this situation. But it says but coming in and being able to educate African slaves would prepare them one day for freedom. And when you look at these different scriptures, you look at these different things, accounts of again, where you have it's a plethora of accounts of our forefathers coming from having nothing, most high like when you see that, like, dang, you know what? Like again, some slaves they feared they didn't like that's a reality. Some slaves they feared that they didn't know what would happen after they got freed. Where would they go? This actually was the thing. All they know is master's house. All they know is being taken care of here, take care of that, and they was afraid. But when you read the Bible, though, the Bible teaches you not to be afraid. It teaches trust in the Lord. Like, dang, my situation may look crazy right now, but I seen what happened to Elijah. I seen what happened to Joshua. I seen how them Israelites that they came through and they destroyed all them cities. I seen that. I seen how he increased Jacob. I seen this in the Bible. This could be me. It gives you hope. It puts you in a spirit like, man, I could do this. You ain't be like, man, I'm about to get up out of here. You gotta look at it. You gotta look at it in that aspect. And what if you get that thought of, hey, I want to get up out of here. Hey, bro, you want to get up out of here too? Why you want to get out of it, man? I've been reading the Bible, man. Look at this, man. Yeah, I know this life may be hard right now. But when you read the scriptures, when you hear about that story with when Elijah was doing the famine, how that lady gave him the flour and Lord increased it. He didn't run out. Man, we'll be all right. Let's get up out of here. You gotta really put your mind out. Like these people were so diabolical. They thought all ways to keep the so-called black man in submission. Literally. So now let's go to the video. And I don't know if I could let me see. Stop sharing. Let me share this. I'm gonna show y'all what was taken out. I think it says it in this video. What was taken out. Because I touched on some of the things that was taken out. But let's see. Hold on, y'all. Y'all bear with me. I don't know what. Okay. All right, there we go, y'all. We about to be cooking now. We cooking now. We cooking now. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to it.
For slaves. It had only 232 of the 1,189 chapters. This version omitted passages that could incite rebellion. The story of
All right, so this now.
The Slave Bible was first published in 1807. It was literally a Bible for slaves. It had only 232 of the 1,189 chapters. This version omitted passages that could incite rebellion. The story of Exodus was one such example. Passages promoting submission were included instead. Christianity was used to justify slavery. Abolitionists used Christianity to advocate for liberation. This included Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. So the slave owners literally rewrote the book. The Slave Bible was not actually called that. The censored version was published as select parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Islands. The title made its purpose clear. Slaves were not allowed to read the Bible themselves.
Stop. So again, that's why when I was reading Exodus and I was telling, when I was going into like, you know, how they realized like, dang, I see that the Israelites going through this. I see them going through that. You like, man, dang. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So again, you didn't heard about how the Egyptians, they was going through it. The Israelites, how they was going through it. And you like, dang, again, this is I going through it. Then you hear about this. Let's keep going. Let's go. Let's jump down to. Let's go to. Let's start here. Let's start at Exodus 12 and 29. And think about this though. You can only imagine, again, if you're reading this, you're like, dang, I see how the Lord doing these Egyptians. You're like, man, what if the Lord do this for me? What if he do this for us? I see how he did them Egyptians. He could do a so-called white man just like this too. You gotta really think about how the Bible, the whole Bible, not the slave Bible, but the whole Bible really would have affected their minds. But let's keep going. It says this, and it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone and bless me also. So and we know they got up out of there. So you could imagine reading this as you're in this predicament, man. That's exciting. Like, oh man, bro, I can't believe this. Now I said we not even done. We not even done. So you imagine hearing this, right? When you read about them, they going to the promised land. Then we're gonna go to another. Hold on. Let me see. This is where I want to go. Let me see which one I want to get. I think I want. Is it 15? 14? No, it's probably 15. It's probably 15. See, hold on. No, it's 15. Yeah, it's 15. So in chapter 15, so okay, we hear about the Israelites, they get free. We hear about Pharaoh in pursuit of the Israelites. We see how that Pharaoh came and chased him. Then the Lord, like I said, I ain't gonna read the whole thing. Y'all, we know the story. If you don't know the story, definitely read it. But Pharaoh, the Lord has swallowed Pharaoh up in the sea. Now we got to get to a point. He started singing the song of Moses. So they said the song of Moses in Israel. So they had a song. It said, they then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he had triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have he thrown into the sea. So I'm gonna keep reading. The Lord is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. Imagine you think about, you gotta be like, dang, they probably sang that song literally back then, saying how the Lord is their salvation, and hearing salvation, like, man, I can get the hell up out of here. I can do it. Again, the Bible gives them hope, and that's what they didn't want our brothers and sisters to have, our forefathers to have. Not only that, now I want to deal with the song singing, because they had the song, they sang about how the Most High got them out. What's something else? It says, I'm gonna touch on two points. Touch on 2 points. I'm gonna touch on 2 points. Hold on. Oh, yes. Let me get 2 points. Because again, let me see where it's at. What I want. Yep, right here. Perfect. So check this out. And let's think about this. It says, for they that carried us away captive required for us a song, and they that was wasted required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. And when you think about it, and this is the reason why I say this, again, this is in Psalms. Imagine reading this. And we know when you read, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this. But when you think about it again, what's one of the things that our forefathers used to do as well? They used to be singing those Negro spirituals. Like, y'all don't know, for the young folks. You know, if you ever been to like I mean, you got like you had to be like a country place. But it's like a country old school place. They used to like my family, they got an old country old school church. But what they would do is, instead, they probably still do it to this day. They would still sing these old behind songs, old songs. You know what I'm saying? And they had this little, the little step with it, and the point is, I'm saying all this is where they got these Negro spirituals that some people here in some of these churches now, they was doing this back then. The same when the slaves never been in the field, they used to be humming songs and things of that nature. Now let's keep going though. It says, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Again, you gotta remember, a lot of the Bible is taken out, and Psalms are taken out too. And I got another article that I'm bringing up. I think it actually states which ones. But again, imagine that. You think about it like, dang, you gotta visualize reading this as you're a slave. They sang the songs. I remember but when you can see too, when you read some of those I don't know what movie that was. Dang, I can't remember what movie it was. But it was like a slave movie or whatever. And I don't know if it was the Alice movie or not. But the slave master, he wanted the people to sing. He wanted them to sing, and they would use us for entertainment. He wanted them to sing. Look at this. He want just like in that predicament. Look at this. Imagine hearing that. You just had not even a long day. Master just made you want to sing this dang song. You're like, man, I don't feel like singing. What the hell I'm singing for? You get in your Bible and you start reading this. You're like, dang, bro, this sounds just like us. It says, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. So then you like, dang. So basically, Lord said he ain't gonna forget us. or forget these people. You gotta see the connection. Like, think about, like, as in Lord, again, we're seeing it from a hope aspect of, even if you didn't know that you was an Israelite, just hearing that, dang, the Lord ain't forget Jerusalem. You're like, dang, the Lord ain't forget Jerusalem. He ain't gonna forget me, he ain't gonna forget us. You gotta think, some people probably think that Lord wasn't even with them at that time. Lord ain't with us right now, man. Look at us. You know what I'm saying? But hearing this, you like, dang, the Lord ain't gonna forget. He ain't gonna forget me. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, and their Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that would thee, if thou hast served us. Imagine hearing and reading this as a slave. Happy shall he be that taketh and dash thy little ones against the stones. Bro, man, that's why you got some people like Nat Turner. Read this Bible and they turned up. They're like, oh, hell no, we can't be, we got to get up out of here. We greater than this, we better than this. But wait, there's more, because we like I said, I'm just going to different little areas in the Bible. Just, again, every brother have, I'm pretty sure, brothers, they say, well, I would have been here or there. Hey, it's so many places you can go to get to find hope, to find that you're Israelite, so forth and so forth. You know, but this is what I chose to go to. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get I gotta get Deuteronomy. But I'm gonna wait till I get Deuteronomy after I get this thing. But again, imagine a slave reading something like this. And don't let it be a slave that made the connection that we are the Israelites. And they read this. You can't even fathom how excited, because it's different. Like, back then, it was a wild west. You know what I mean? I said wow. It was lawless. It wasn't really no law order like that, man. You can just do whatever. Yeah. You know, you can see how this society was. You know, now sure it's just too much going on. You know what I'm saying? Too many. You mess with Esau right now. But the point is, what I'm saying is, you can imagine a man in that state. They'll be like, man, F all this, man. I'm finna crash out. For real. I'm finna get up out of here. I.e. Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying? And this with the slave masters feared. They feared uprising. Again, they feared the slaves having hope. And man, they did what they did. Gave us that crappy behind Bible. But let's go to this. Now, I'm not gonna read this whole thing because we kind of touched on it in the article. But I'll read the top part again. You know what I'm saying? But it says this. It says select parts of the Holy Bible, and that's what the book is called. The Holy Bible for use of the Negro slaves in the British West Indies Islands, shortly known as the Slave Bible, is an abbreviated version of the Bible specifically made for teaching a pro-slavery version of Christianity to enslaved people in the British West Indies. Over 90% of the Old Testament and over 50% of the New Testament were removed from the Bible in this edition. And that's another thing too. Christianity is not the Bible. I just want to say that. Christianity is not the Bible. Understand that. Christianity is a religion. And that's what they gave our people. They gave our people Christianity through the enslaved, that little Bible they had, little skimp Bible, called a skimp Bible. That skimp Bible they gave us, that's what they taught you Christianity. That's why Negroes are in Christianity now to this day. Because that skimp Bible. Not knowing, reading, or indulging to the whole Bible, which our people still to this day don't even do. So it's like I said, that's why I said it hasn't changed much when you think about it again. Most of our people, they don't know what's going on in that Bible. Again, a lot of our people, they probably don't even read it. Bible collecting dust. The only time they might open their Bible up is on Sunday to get some more Christianity poured into their mind. But let's keep going though. because I want to jump down to. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna jump down. I want to jump down. Let me see where I'm at time wise. All right, yeah. Oh, you said 12 Years Slave. Okay, 12 Years Slave. That's what the movie is. 12 Years Slave. What I was talking about. 12 Years Slave. That's what that was. But let me go ahead and go to this. Back to the article that we was reading. Let's go back to there. So I can show y'all, and the reason why I went to where I went. It says the publishers of the Slave Bible thought these sections, such as the Exodus, that's why I went into Exodus, because they took Exodus out. It went on Exodus in the Bible, so you can imagine how that was. Hold on. Before I even do that, stop. I can't even. I had to come back. This is what we want right here. I'm just go to the point. We read this the last article kind of touches on this exact thing. But I want to touch on what's after this period right here. This is what I want to touch on. And this is very important. And this is why I say again, when you see the whole play, but they knew, they knew, first of all, they knew who we were. They knew we were Israelites. They knew that. It wasn't just about dang, I want to teach them Christianity. They want to teach us some bull crap and make us just think we ain't good for nothing but being slaves. That's what they did. Because when we read after this period, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Exodus 21, verse 16, and Deuteronomy 23, verse 15 through 16 were also removed. So when we think about it again, these people they went through and they picked important things. Again, hold on. And then all right, so now we're gonna keep going. But first I want to get the scriptures too. Let's go to these scriptures first. Hold on. All right. Let me get that 21 to 16. All right. Let's go there. Check this out. Hey, definitely had to this out. He that steal a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. They had to take that out. Because they knew exactly what they doing was worthy of death. They knew what they were doing was wicked, and they didn't want us to know that. And what's so crazy though, that's when again they took our revelation. What's so crazy was because we right here as we talking this, and we talking about man that steals man and sells a man. It kind of made me think about this scripture right here. And again, let me go to it. You gotta go this precept. You like, dang. So when you reading that, you like, dang, this man's supposed to be put to death. Then you go to Revelation, read Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So then you read that scripture, you like, dang, this man, he done stole a man. We in his hand. We see he gonna get put to death. The Bible says he gonna be put to death. Then we read this right here. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And you gotta see the things that it would excite in a slave's mind. Like, oh, bro, it's up. These men worthy of death anyways. That's what the Bible say. They go into captivity anyway. That's what the Bible say. So you can see and how it is now, and that's why the Israelites now, the people are not the Israelites, but the people that's out there that's preaching the gospel. That's why the world see them as a nuisance now, Because they letting the world know who the evil is, letting the world know that we are God's people, we in power, that we gonna be on top. Because now we got the whole thing. And they getting into it. They talking about the prophecies, talking about the instructions to come. Right? And they say that's dangerous. That's why they say some of hate speech. Because now they can't stop it now. Because they used to Negroes just knowing what was taught from the slave Bible. They used to that. They not used to seeing brothers on the highways and byways telling the so-called white man they hate the devil the Bible speaks of. They not used to that. You know? Telling people that they gotta come out of definitely telling people they gotta come out of Christianity. Because that's what they want our people in. They want our people to be in Christianity. But now at this time, they don't even care you being a Christian or not. They as long as you destroy a Negro, that's all that matters. That's a win for them. Long as they destroy it. Long as they don't know what's going on. Check this out. They had to again, Deuteronomy 23 and 15. They had to say this joint out. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. Bro, they did not want our people to know this. Man, it's crazy. These devils is really crafty. But that goes back to, again, this right here. You read this is so crafty. That just made me think about this. Because, again, you know, hell, it wasn't just so-called white man that had us in captivity. It wasn't just him. You know, it wasn't just him that was buying us as slaves. You had other nations. Chinese had us in the slave trade. Arab man in the sub-Saharan slave trade. But these devils are crafty, though. Check this out. This Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And this is a straight identifier who these people are. These are the enemies of the Lord. These are the enemies of the Israelites. And again, if you just reading the whole Bible, you like, dang, man, I seen all. Again, you a slave, you reading all this, and you recognizing all this, like, oh, man, we got to get up out of here. It says this, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. They did that. And look how crafty they was with this Bible. Picked out certain little verses, used certain little verses and said, this is Christianity. This is what I want you to believe in. And this, I ain't gonna read this whole thing, but we know who it said. It mentions the Tabernacles of Edom, Ishmaelites, Moab, Hagarenes, Ammon, so forth and so forth. Okay, so the people took crafty counsel against the Israelites. We're seeing this. It's evident. It's evident. And it's evident who the Israelites are. Straight up. So now I'm gonna go to this, and I want to get something else, but I'm gonna speak on it briefly. But I ain't gonna. I want to really get it. I want to really get it. But we got to go to the classics too. We got to go to the classic Deuteronomy chapter 28. We got to go there. We got to go there. We got to go there. Because if this ain't a dang sure identifying the slave mind that it is like, I don't know what it is. So we just gonna go straight first 8:15. We all familiar with it before there might be somebody on here that never read Deuteronomy 28:15. This is for you. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and statutes, which I command this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now again, we looking at a slave in his mind. Dang, bro, let me see. Hold on. It says, "Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field." Bro, that's us. But it's again, you really gotta visualize this, bro. Again, that's how you think Nat Turner figured out. He read that thing. It was, bro, it was imperative. And look at this. Look at it time-wise, like now. So we have drifted so far from our history, even knowing history, and even knowing how diabolical the white man is, because they covered up. They covered up with the smiles. They covered up with the politics. They covered up because they tossed you a little change here and there. But back then, they knew. Back then, them people don't slaves, they knew. Oh, these niggas wicked. They knew. So imagine in that mindset, when you not integrated in white society, when you not whatever they got going on, you're not a NBA ball player or a rapper or this social whatever they got going on that just strips them from thinking or realizing who the enemy is, who the devil is. And there's a lot of our people there because they got their degree, man. Don't worry about that. We all family. It's all good. We all human beings, as a brother said the other day at camp. We all human beings. But you start reading this, and you I'm gonna just go through a couple. I ain't gonna read all the curses, but you just read this certain things like, oh, whoa. It says this: the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and thou shalt remove into all kingdoms of the earth. Shall be removed to all kingdoms, because we wouldn't even know it, bro. That's us. You just gotta see. You gotta put your mind into it. Dang, yo. 32. It's another one. I know they had to see this. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in our hand. But bro, you gotta imagine they send up, but bro, you can imagine just reading that. Their heart probably had to sink in their stomach. Like, bro, this crazy, this us, bro. Realize you reading the Bible and you realize, like, dang, you making a connection. Like, dang, we really God's chosen people. Again, you gotta understand. At that time, they really lived like we gotta, like right now, 2026. We have to go and tell Jake, like, man, who was cursed in the field. Jake kind of be sitting there. Our people some of our people be like that. I don't know. Or this script right here. We gotta explain. Well, did you know that in the translated slave trade, our children were put on auction block and they were sold to this slave master, to that slave master? Back then, they seen that clearly. They see that's us, cause they was straight living that. They was living that. So you go like, dang, bro, this is, you know what I'm saying? It would have to be so mind blowing, man, mind blowing. But again, that's why they knew it was up. They had to take that. They had to stop. They didn't want them reading. You got beat for reading. What that was? Bro, I think it was in the movie Alice this time though. She had a book, like the slave master. He had a book, but he only would let her read one certain book, and she could only read that book. And basically, he like had the books like kind of put up, and she could only read like one book. But again, like I said, they didn't want us reading none of that because they knew what it was. But I gotta get the classic of the classic, because I mean, we go to verse 47 on down, bro. Well, we really start at 45. 45 on down, you gotta realize, like, man, the Most High, this is us. This is us. We are those people. So let's go to 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So now we're looking at it. Again, it's another classic one. But I'm saying we gotta imagine this in the mind of a slave actually reading this. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. But that had to be the one. I mean, all of them had to be. It's so many ones you can't deny it. That's us. I know it's just like, man, it's an obvious reason why they had to that out. And then again, also you want to keep in mind, they don't speak English how they didn't speak English how we speak now. They had their old English back then, so they even more understood the Bible more. More understood more, but they would have understood the Bible more. Cause you got some brothers and sisters, they're like, man, I can't understand that old English. They got to get a new NLT, NIV. But these people was familiar with their old English language. So imagine them really taking time to read it, but they're telling you that they had to give us that. They had to. But you know, it all plays a part in the plan of the Most High God. But I want to read this too. Oh, let me tell y'all this. Okay. So it says this. I'm gonna tell y'all, come and get ready to write down, but I want to keep reading this. It says the publisher of the Slave Bible thought these sections such as Exodus, the Psalms, and the Book of Revelation could instill a slaves a dangerous hope for freedom and dreams of equality. And we already read the one about Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5. So, you know, they took out again 90% of the Bible. I mean 90% of the Old Testament and 50% of the New Testament, and you know the Apocrypha. They didn't even have the Apocrypha in there. So that's what they taught us. And that's what a lot of our people, they unknowingly go by the same little BS that was in there because they miss a lot. They missing a lot. A lot of Christians nowadays don't go in there, Book of Revelation, talk about no Exodus. Talk about that. They might go Psalms 23 in there, but that's it. They don't really dive into Psalms. But I did want to touch on this. This is the thing I said I was going to briefly speak of. And they want us to believe, and I think I'm going to do that, another lesson on that. But they want us also to believe, how like they say, all you got to do is believe in Christ. What Christ did they want us to believe in? They want us to believe in Shezbo J. But that's a whole nother lesson too. That I might get up into that and just going into what they want us to believe, what they want us to have faith in. You know what I'm saying? And going into some scriptures and things like that. Lord willing, next time. But yeah, that's the Negro Bible, man. That's the Negro Bible. That's what it was. That's what it had. I ain't got a copy of it, but if I had a copy of it, we should dang sure get up into it. But yeah, that's what it is, though. But Lord willing, that was edifying through the Spirit. I'm gonna get one a closing precept. A classic precept, though. It's Psalms 15:15, and it reads this: "And call upon me in the day of trouble, I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me." Why I brought this out? Because we see the things that's going on in the world right now. Don't fear. You know what I'm saying? Increase in faith. Everybody be trying to increase in faith. I ain't saying I got it all figured out. But and also remember that, yes, times of trouble are coming. For a fact they are. But when those times come, trust in the Lord. Call upon him. He will deliver you. Don't be faint-hearted in this thing. Believe in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. But Lord willing else, edifying through the Spirit. And again, remember that precept. A time of trouble comes, even on your day-to-day basis. You going through it, you catching hell, life not going right, whatever. Even if life going right, still call upon the name of the Lord. But Lord willing else, edifying through the Spirit. As always, want to always give our honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua.